Namaskaram, one and all. May I invoke the gurus before I begin, because we must never forget the rishis of India, the great wise men who have seen reality and who have had the compassion to share their vision with us by bestowing upon us the great science of yoga. Om Tat Parampariya Vidmahe Jnana Lingeshwaraya Dhimahi Tano Guru Prachodayate. Om. Om. That Rishi manifested to me personally through the person of Yoga Maharishi, Dr. Swami Geetananda Giri. But that Rishi spirit is manifested in so many ways through the great Krishnamacharya, the great Desikachara, whose successor is here with us today, Kausab Desikachara, and Mr. Manoj Nayak, who is representing the Parampariya, the same Parampariya, a different stream, founded by B.K.S. Iyengar. You're very lucky today. We have diamonds here. And of course, as you know, diamonds are scarce and rare. So they're not so many. If a great film star would have come, perhaps we'd be packed. But we have very great diamonds sitting here, and I'm very pleased to be here. Very pleased to offer my namaskarams to Dr. Seturamanji, who is doing a magnificent job of supporting yoga in a medical institute. I want to tell him, and perhaps he doesn't know, that this is an extremely unique work you are doing, sir. And I namaskar you and I applaud you for this. I am not aware, and I have a great contact all over the world, of any place, any medical university in the world that has such emphasis on yoga and is offering degrees and is offering courses and carrying on conferences within the structure of an allopathic institution. And you are bringing the old sciences and the new sciences together, sir. And it is a path-breaking pioneer endeavor, which, again, perhaps people do not realize. I'm very pleased to meet Dr. Ananta Krishnan, who's a very wonderful personality. I can feel a beautiful vibration from him, and I know that he is backing this work and carrying on this work in a marvelous way. And Dr. Ravi Shankar, who is also on the dais with me. And of course, as I said, Dr. Gangadhar, who I met last week, just a few days ago in Delhi, where we enjoyed a marvelous time. For the first time in the history of India, the government of India has given yoga prominence. The celebrations in Delhi were unbelievable, weren't they? They were just mind-blowing. And the demonstration, the 40,000 people gathered on Rajpath, was so thrilling that I hate mob things. I hate crowd things. If I see a crowd going one way, I'll run the other way. But that was so thrilling to see 40,000 people doing yoga together perfectly in synchronization. And then to see our great Prime Minister, Dr. Narendra Modi, come down from the dais, unexpectedly, by the way, and join the crowd and do the asanas very well for his age. What a thrilling moment. And it's also been now in the Guinness Book of Records. So it's a great time in history for us to jump on the bandwagon, if you like bandwagons. Now, having said all that, I'll try to put a few ideas into your minds and hearts that perhaps can stimulate you to continue to seek the truth through this wonderful path called yoga. The title of the conference, The Therapeutic Potential of Yoga, and I was so happy to hear Dr. Seturam say, why do we emphasize curing disease when yoga is the science of health, Ayurveda? It's a science of health. And now we are trying to turn it to make it a cure People will come and say, my mother has cancer, can you show me a couple of asanas to cure her? Or I have heart disease or this or that, and I need a few pranayamas. There's such a wrong concept has come into this field of yoga therapy that I myself, frankly, don't have much interest in it. Sorry to tell you. I am interested in the wellness aspect of India because I had so many questions. And to find those answers, I studied all these great scriptures and I found that they were all saying the same thing that Swamiji taught. But Swamiji taught in a very, very plain, practical, scientific, medical-based way. And this book is the result of my search for the answers to my questions. So I hope that if anybody has the same questions, they may find some of the answers that I found in that book. Now, what is a question? There's a beautiful episode in our Upanishads where the Rishi is saying, who made this wonderful universe? What constitutes seed? Who centers the universal wheel? What is this form, beyond form, pervading forms? These are all questions that I've had, and perhaps you have had also. And then the Rishi says, only God knows. And then he said something even better. He said, and maybe God himself does not know. Maybe even he doesn't know. Isn't that great? So mischievous. There's a mischievousness in our Rishi culture. There's a beauty, there's an art, there's a poetry. And now the translators want to take all of that out and everything becomes very boring. Huh? The Rishis were magnificent personalities. Questions. Swamiji told us, the question is the most important part of the quest. It's the question we must learn to ask. Not looking for answers, but we must formulate the question, because the question is the formulation of our quest. So I can't give any answers, but I would like to ask 3 questions of those of you who have this interest in yoga therapy particularly. And this is something that puzzles me because, and this is why I really don't have interest in yoga therapy, because I don't know the answers to these questions. I don't know what to do. When someone comes to me and says, I have a heart problem, I have a back problem, I have a wife problem, I have a husband problem, I have a child problem, I have this problem, I have that problem. I could tell them what Swamiji said. Swamiji used to say, who has problems? And everybody would raise their hands. And Swamiji would say, you don't have any problems. He would say, you do not have any problems. You are the problem. That's all he would say. And it's so true, isn't it? We are our problem. When we find out who we are, then there's no problem, is it? When we find out that. So that's what yoga is all about. The main question in yoga, of course, is, who am I? Koham. Koham. Well, I can tell you the answer for that. It's soham, but that doesn't help much, does it? Doesn't help too much. Koham. Who am I? So perhaps as therapists, when someone comes, you should say, who are you? And ask the patient to try to find out who they are. Another question, but on the more practical level, is that yoga, to me, must be simple. It must be natural. We cannot construct all these modules and this module and that module and this formula and that formula. Heart operations when he was about 50. And I said, Swamiji, why did you? You were a millionaire. Why did you stop? And he said, well, you know, I made a lot of money, but that wasn't what I wanted. He said, I'd go and cure this guy and cut this table again. Because he went out and did the very same thing. We, as therapists, if you're a therapist, if you want to use it, inculcate this need for the person to realize they must simplify their lifestyle and live naturally. Natural food, simple food, natural surroundings, walking, plants, trees, animals, sky, birds, water, they must be in that. How can the yoga work without that? It can't. I don't think. Maybe you know the answer to that. Second one, and this will be very, very touchy, so I hope I don't offend anybody with this point. That's my first point. That's my first question. How can a therapist work with someone who's living an unnatural lifestyle? Second point, how can you get them to change? You can't be cured unless you change. Of course, the doctor will say, take a pill. You're better. I'll cut this out. I'll cut that out. I'll put this in. Throw, shake, throw. Now, put a big smile on your face, please. Smile. Smile. That's the best medicine. When your student comes to you, give him a big smile. Dr. Anantakrishnan gave me the biggest smile when he walked in the door. My heart leapt up. I felt so happy. Already I felt better. Change. If you're running around with a solemn face, put a smile. If you smile too much, then put a frown, of course. Okay, sit down now. That point is change. If we want to change something, we have to change. Even if we're just sitting down, stand up, something different happens, even physiologically. As soon as we change something, everything changes. But how to get that point to the patient? Now, the last point that I'll make in this small presentation to you is the role of yama, niyama in yoga therapy. The very first two limbs of Ashtanga Yoga as codified by the great Maharishi Patanjali more than 3,000 years ago. Yama niyama, morality and ethics. I think you know our old scriptures used to link moral lapses with particular diseases. And now there's a lot of research which is doing the same. Now they're saying that people who are angry have more propensity to cancer. People who repress their emotions have more propensity to blood pressure. They are starting to go back to that through the scientific route. Our character, our morality, and our ethics has to be cleaned up if we want to cure ourselves of the diseases. Now, can that be imparted to the patient? I'm asking questions. I don't know. Can it? Can, when someone comes for therapy, that we counsel them to live natural, simple lifestyles? Can, when someone comes for therapy, we counsel them to change their habits? Can, when someone comes for counseling, can we say, look, very gently, of course, take a look at your morality and ethics. Are you kind? Are you trying to do good? Do you cheat? Do you steal? Do you tell lies? Not in a big way, in the small little ways of daily life. Now, those issues have to be addressed, in my opinion. Those questions have to be answered by each person personally in every situation. And then the yoga therapy has a chance. Then some of the yoga practices may be able to bring about the desired effect. So I thank you all very much for listening, being here, and I wish the conference all success. And again, I congratulate Dr. Seturaman and all the officials of the Balji Vidyapeeth University for their pioneering, path-breaking, wonderful work, and may the whole world stand up and applaud their efforts. Namaskar.